You're listening to the Business Wealth Impact Podcast, your source for empowering information and cutting-edge ideas from the world's top minds. I'm your host, Jeanne Amlour, founder of seven-figure coaching company, Jeanne Amlour International. Join me on a journey to unleash your potential and create your highest success. Welcome to Business Wealth Impact. Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Business Wealth Impact. Today, we have a wonderful guest, Len Ward. Len Ward, with a rare blend of financial insight, entrepreneurial expertise, and AI expertise, brings practical, forward-thinking guidance to today's business leaders and consults with CEOs to help them implement AI and optimize business systems, and also has a digital marketing agency. Welcome, Len.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward because I'm excited. Okay, so today we were chatting before. I'm excited because you are here to help people actually leverage AI. So I want to hear more about how do we start leveraging AI as opposed to just using it to write blog posts.
So I think one of the easiest ways to start leveraging AI is to actually start interacting AI and try to see if you can start solving your problems from a business perspective. Too many people are kind of jumping into ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and they're just asking questions. That's what a search engine's for. LLMs, which is what I just mentioned, those things solve your problem. So from business processes to maybe helping you identify different types of sales strategies, marketing strategies, you want to start interacting with these things a little bit more and literally have these things be your top consultant, top employee, and have them start bringing recommendations back to you. It doesn't mean you have to implement everything, but what it is doing is it's building a knowledge base about you and building a knowledge base about your business and how you're going about things. As you keep asking your questions, as you keep implementing the strategy that's giving you and going back and giving it feedback, it's going to get smarter and smarter and smarter and truly understand your business. So it's time to kind of move away from I'm using it as a search engine to find something, or it's going to help me write an email or a blog post, over to what if I start leaning on this thing as my top strategist in my business? What results will it give me? That's when you start seeing the aha moment with AI.
Okay, because a lot of people, me included, we struggle with actual meaningful implementation, I would say. Yes, we're using it more and more for search, I use it a lot for research to just, whittle down and get the right results if I'm going to hire somebody or get insurance or something like that. How do people without knowledge, because we're hearing a lot about vibe coding, and we were talking about that in a minute, and please explain to people what that is, the people that don't know it. Well, some of us don't want to learn vibe coding because that's just not, we don't want, people would say to me, just learn coding and build your own website. I never wanted to learn coding to build my own website. I want to pay people to do that. Okay. And I used to hear that years ago. And I'm like, I don't have time to learn coding to build my own website. So how can people do this without having to be techie? That's the question. How can non-techie people really utilize AI and really harness it?
There's a multi-answer, response to your question. I think we are shifting in business from search and retrieve to solve my problem. I'm going to get to how the vibe coding plays into this. Meaning, historically, we've went to Google, we've searched for whatever our situation was, and you would come back to 20, 40 blue links, and you would go read the blog post, you read everything it gave you, and then you would have an informed decision at the end, right? So you're like, okay, after a couple hours of research, this is where I'm at. Where LLMs are different is that you tell LLMs the problem, and what happens is it immediately comes back with an answer based upon what they think is as accurate as it's going to get. A couple of years ago, the accuracy was so-so, a lot of hallucinations. Now they're within 80 to 90% of pretty much solving your problem. So when you think about that line right there is exactly how your customers, your clients, your prospects are now going to be identifying your business or your services. So the question is that, what does that mean for you? That means for you that on your website, any types of products you're rolling out, you have to now lead, tip of the spear with how can we solve their problem? What can we do to solve this prospect or this client's problem, for whatever it may be? No more, we're going to write 25 pieces of content. We're going to get them in a mousetrap. We're going to work them through a funnel. That's old school marketing. The new marketing is solving their problem. How do you solve their problem? That's by making sure that they have an area. Let's just say they're off of ChatGPT and they're looking for a myriad of tools in which to try to help them solve problems, whether that's calculators, estimators, maybe there's retirement planning tools, whatever it may be. You have to understand how to build these tools, and you don't have to rely on other companies to build these tools for you and where you go out and purchase these tools. That's vibe coding. Vibe coding is getting easier and easier and easier. You can simply interact with a dashboard. You could talk to it. You can type it and say, I'm looking to come up with a great retirement tool for individuals that I'm going to go out to that changes every time I go meet with another individual, or maybe I'm going to build an investment portfolio, whatever it may be. It will build a platform for you and a dashboard for you, a software platform that's just as good as anything you see out there. And if anything, it actually is going to start working better than anything you've seen out there. Now, there are some complexities to it. You do have to understand things called API and certain other things, how to hook it up. But that's the last vestiges of where non-techie people are like, because that's just going to, scare them away and be like, I don't want to do that. We're only about 6 months out from when you're just going to talk through this stuff. And as long as you're registered on other websites to grab what's called API keys, anyone and everyone's going to be able to build this. So that's what vibe coding is. And that, kind of talking about the conversation we had earlier, is one of the reasons why Wall Street right now is under serious, serious pressure, because forever, that's a $900 billion a year industry, software business, where so many companies are out there and they're giving you all this new software you can do. There's a term that has been used recently that I don't like, but it's called disposable software. But that's the era we're moving into. And that's why Wall Street is under pressure. So you're beginning to see the business model of ChatGPT and so forth emerge. And that is, we're going to grab that $900 billion out of the software first, and then we're going to grab somebody else's stuff second. So when people are talking about jobs and vibe coding, everything going on, hopefully, and I just kind of threw a lot at you, the picture starts getting a little clearer. But that's what vibe coding is: creating great apps, great products that anyone can do. And I'll say this in closing. Think about how many times you've had a great idea for an app or maybe a website or a business. Now imagine being able to grab your phone and jump into Lovable or Replit and say, I want you to build this and this for me because I just had this idea. And imagine pulling your phone back up 5 minutes later and there it is looking at you, the actual product. That's where we are. And that's why I think people don't understand the velocity of how this is moving and why other companies are under pressure to kind of respond to this. So a lot at you, a lot to digest, but hopefully that answers your question.
Right. Okay. So there's something called Lovable. That's like the platform that creates
one of the platforms.
one example. So say we get Lovable because it has to be housed somewhere. I think people struggle even like, well, where is it housed? So Lovable is a good example. You get a Lovable account and you can then have a place to house the app or the website that you're building. And you'll be able to there's a lot of voice coding now. You could just say, hey, I want this website and I want it to look like this, blah, blah, blah. And it will produce it. And then you say, hey, go tweak that, change this, put an opt-in here with my email connected to my email list here on Active Campaign and do this. And you could just keep talking through it and tweaking it like that, correct?
Yeah, you can. You can kind of keep going all the way through, and it's going to ask you for API codes. It's going to you're going to have to log into certain things. Like there are some back end things, and if you do want to continue to talk with it, there's actually an app called Willow. I highly recommend people get that. Willow, you can actually use Willow and talk into anything out there. It's an AI app, and it starts recording everything you're doing and then submits that to the AI platforms. But yes, in short, that is exactly what you can do to try to start building these things.
Okay, so you're using this in your digital marketing agency. Okay?
Yes.
So basically, you're doing for your clients what they don't want to do because you're just going to handle all that for them. Is that what you do?
Yeah, yeah. It's similar to if you go back to the days where, years ago on digital marketing, the biggest fear people had was, well, digital marketing is going to go away because anybody can do pay-per-click or anybody can do social media ads. But what they forgot is that people have a business to run. So no, they don't have time to do the social media ads and do the pay-per-click ads. They want to hire somebody. But so yes, I do think for now, my agency, that's what we do, but I am predicting in a couple of years that everybody's going to have an internal AI person who's going to be running this stuff. And there'll be AI consultants like which we're morphing into that's going to say, hey, down the road, pay attention to this, pay attention to that. I think that is the future of where agencies are going to be.
Right. I do think it's going to be more a consulting thing of, okay, here's what's out there. And those people like you are knowledgeable about Willow and Lovable and everything because we can't be out there knowing everything in every app. So I think it's more about people that know everything that's available can do the bottom line is, okay, there's this, and this. Now, for what you need, you want this, and this. And then we'll plug it all in for you. And you won't be doing it. The platforms will be doing it and Claude or whatever. Apparently, ChatGPT recently has not been very accurate. Did you hear that lately?
No,
The
I've
last
not
few
heard that.
days?
No,
Yeah.
no, it might be having some off times. There's stuff you have to when you
Mm,
run it through, even Gemini, which I love by Google, when it comes by, you have to review it. We're catching a lot of people just throwing stuff out there. It's crazy. So what we do on our products, we do an AI reviewed, and then we do a thumbprint on it, which says human approved. So you can't this I think that's people's biggest fear too, to kind of alleviate a little bit of fears. Well, AI is going to take over everything, it's going to do anything. Go look through the course of mankind, and you tell me in history when the humans took their hands off the wheel. That's not going to happen. Humans are always going to want to make the final decision. So too many people are really kind of saying, "Oh, well, this and this is going to happen." And to answer your question right there, well, ChatGPT was off. That's the single reason why humans have to pilot this going forward. I do not see a time where AI runs everything all told and humans do nothing because what else are we supposed to do?
well, you know what? My fear, because I think a lot about this, my fear is taking away the control of quality control. That people say, "Oh, just speak that in," and I'm thinking, "Yeah, but then, even with, like, assistants that don't do their work properly, you have to make sure somebody's checking the work, because if you don't, what do we know? We know when we say, 'Oh, yeah, go run with it.' Then we look back later and think, 'Oh my gosh, I can't believe that went out like that,' right? I can't believe we didn't double check that." My fear is more that, your name's on something and it's like, "Sure, go do this, AI agent," and then it's like, "Wait a minute, that was really badly done, and they made a really stupid mistake, and it didn't sound like me," and then it just makes you look bad. That can destroy your brand, right?
Oh, it can absolutely destroy your brain. And that is why, you have to I think now, I do think people are going to lose their jobs. I do think things are going to slim down. But I think the roles that are going to emerge from this are AI pilots, AI project managers, AI data room controllers. So there's a whole myriad of jobs that don't exist, which literally answer every single thing you just said. They're going to be handling that type of situation. The other thing I come back to AI, and I'm a huge proponent of AI, is people keep coming back, the great people of it, Sam Altman, Elon Musk, and AI is going to get smarter and smarter, and we're not going to know what to do. Okay. If you go compare the human intelligence now to where it was 100 years ago, we are a billion times smarter than where we were 100 years ago. So you're now betting and hedging that the human is not going to get smarter and smarter as this thing goes. The human, by the way, is the one that invented this thing. So I think this betting against the human is kind of getting a little out of control right now, but I think it's because of all the information that we have to digest, all the social media, all you think about that. Everything's a click, everything's a rage bait. I'm sorry, I'm not betting against the humans. I think AI is going to completely upend everything we're doing. But to bet against a human, to not be as smart or not surpass this somewhere down the road, I think you clearly never once spent one day in history class with your eyes open or ears open. Because betting against a human is going to be something they've never lost, and they won't lose this either.
Mm. Well, I mean, there is the thing about, the exponential intelligence of AI. I mean, already AI is smarter than us. Like
It,
none of us can do what
absolutely.
AI. Absolutely.
It is.
It's interesting you say that, because apparently we are not as smart as we used to be, because there was this test at the turn of the century for 12-year-olds, and those questions most adults can't answer now.
Yeah, I could go on a big dissertation about what we're teaching.
I believe that we are killing critical thinking, and I believe that if we use AI all the time, we will actually lose our ability to think if we have the crutch of AI all the time, because, um, you won't have to think ever. So there is a danger that humans might become more stupid. That's just my thing. And I don't some people do agree with me, because if you don't have to think, then you won't. So then the muscle's not being used. So I feel like there has to be some balance where we're not using AI all the time, and we are figuring stuff out for ourselves just to keep the gray matter going. That's where I am right now.
I'm with you 100%. I definitely think there's going to be a myriad of people who are not going to want to do anything and let this do everything for them. And then there's going to be another camp of people that are like, okay, you know what? I want to go in and I want to succeed. I want to do things on my own. So, and this super intelligence, which you are right now, at this, how we look at it right now, it is definitely smarter than every human being on the planet right now. No question. But now people, are going to be challenged and say, you know what? I'm up for this challenge. I want to try to get smarter than this. because we are competitive at our core. No matter where you are, where you're born in this country, at your core, you always want to try to advance yourself, your family, whatever it may be. And I do believe those people will rise up, and that's what's going to happen. But I am with you 100%. This is taking away critical thinking, rationale, education, where that scares me. Going into the future where, 75% of the people are now we have to drag them along, and the other people are the ones that are doing all the work and getting smarter and smarter. So that does concern me. So there is a whole ethical thing here with AI that does concern me. And I'm with you. I think no matter what happens, however advanced we get with AI, you have got to have the human in control. The human has got to be the one that says yes or no and so forth. The minute we take this out of human hands, then we are going to go exactly down the road, which you just said, which is it's going to be the dumbing of our nation, the dumbing of everybody. And that could end catastrophically towards the end of humans of just taking our hands off the wheel. So what that's going to look like, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, if anybody can vibe code, then everybody's going to have there is a democratization going on, that anybody that can speak can get stuff done for them. So that's good. And some of those people weren't thinking for themselves anyway. But the people that were more likely to think for themselves, that's the middle ground of averagely or well-educated people, right? I think it could help people that aren't educated, because then they can just speak and say, hey, I want to get this done. And I think that's been a problem in history, that people aren't educated. They can't do stuff for themselves. So that's a good thing. So there's certain pockets of goodness, right? Now, what about, well, you said people are going to lose their jobs. And this is a huge question about universal basic income. And I ask this of a lot of people. I know you don't know, because we don't know. But what's your idea? And it may or may not be right, but what do you feel is going to happen with universal basic income? Is that going to work?
No, there's no way that, for me, who's, a huge fan of capitalism, as I think a lot of people are, that you're going to take away my ability to go in and try to make more money, to take away my ability to go in and try to create a product that's going to better society or whatever it may be. Universal income is code word for socialism or communism. It's like there's why strive for anything? Just take their everyday job and go from there. At our core, especially in this country and a lot in Europe and so forth, it's let's try to get better. Yes, I know monetarily people want that, but in deep down, one of the reasons you want to get better and you want to, it's the outcome. Like it makes me feel good. Like I like that I've done something, that I've advanced, that my deathbed, I'm going to look back and say, I learned this. I was able to implement that. Imagine looking at your deathbed and say, yeah, I made the same amount of money. I didn't really do anything. And here I am dead. What's the average death rate at that point? 50? Because people aren't going to care anymore. So here's what I think is going to happen. And I say this on any time I'm asked. I think we're going to go through a lot of bloodshed. I think a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. I think a lot of companies, which they're doing right now, is they're using AI as the cover of not running their business right. So they're laying people off because they way overhired during COVID. But I do think as AI is implemented, and I do look at things, people will lose their jobs. But once we get over this mountain, we are going to move into the golden age of entrepreneurship. I think the 1 and 2 person shops with vibe coding, with all a million different other things, are going to emerge, and they're going to do really, really well. I think the way you work right now, 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, if you're a banker, you're working 100 hours a week, that's going to change. I think you're going to work in a very different environment, a very looser type environment. I predict AI is going to be one of these things where you drop in and drop out, because it is all autonomously running. So if you like, we're going to drop out for 4 days because you're taking your family away, or you just need to unplug, you can do that. You don't have to be tied to a desk anymore. So as bad as it's going to be right now, and I'll tell you where I think my prediction on the blood on the streets coming from. I think we're going to get over a hump where small businesses are going to emerge, and people are going to feel really good about themselves because they're working for themselves. The fear of losing your job, and I'm making this prediction and I could be wrong, is it's going to be the large companies, the 10,000 plus companies that employ that many people, who are going to have a very difficult time competing with the 1 or 2 people, which people laugh, but we just said how powerful AI is. The 1 or 2, maybe up to 5 person shops that are leveraging AI. What's going to happen is they're going to be able to outmaneuver these 10,000 person shops, consulting shops, whatever it may be. They're going to grab the business. And these other shops are going to have to start laying people off, not because these people didn't know AI, because the large companies did not know how to react to AI. And that's where I think we're going to head right now. So they keep coming in and saying, you're going to lose your job because AI is taking your job. No, you're going to lose your job because the powers that be on these large companies they don't know what to do with AI. Like a lot of people don't. They're not making decisions and they're letting it all happen. So my opinion for everybody is not only should you learn AI, but you better be prepared that that large company you thought was safe, they're not safe because it's like moving an aircraft carrier in a harbor. It takes them way too long to make decisions, way too many bottlenecks. That is specifically and directly where AI is an imminent threat for who you work for. And they are not making any decisions to fix it. So that's my prediction on where we're going to hit.
Okay, so I was just thinking about volume. Let's just say that everybody can create a business, and they can everybody can get in the SEO rankings, because you just need an agent to get you in great rankings on SEO now. You don't have to pay somebody in India or whatever. Okay, so if everybody that uses AI is doing well, there's going to be a plethora of businesses and products, and it feels like there's just going to be so much to buy, and that everybody's doing well. How can you know what I mean? Like, there's going to be so much noise if everybody is visible. And so there's got to be something still that people have to shine in all that. If everybody does well, there's still got to be some way.
Yeah, I don't think everybody's going to do well. I think, but and maybe I didn't say that right. So that's my apologies. I think you're still going to have we all know there's a lot of people out there that don't want to work. They don't work hard or whatever, whatever it may be. It's just because they don't want to. They're not, nothing's going to change on their end. That's, we all have, friends or family or anybody that just doesn't really want to work too hard. And this is just what they're coasting. That's okay. That's what they do. I just mean for the people who embrace AI, who always had that entrepreneurial spirit, I think they're going to do exceptionally well. And I think we're going to move into the advent of like breakthroughs in medical, breakthroughs in business and science and commerce. I think that's what's going to emerge from it. But, 40, 50% of the population that doesn't want to do it, maybe they're just, it's not their thing. That's okay. But I don't think everyone's going to do well. And I do think AI, unfortunately, is going to gobble up quite a few industries, and it's going to hurt some people because that's all they've ever known for maybe generations. But no, I don't think it's going to be everybody. I think it's almost like we're going through this, we're going through bloodshed, and we're going to end up exactly where we are, which if you go look at America for the last couple hundred years, no matter whatever the revolution may be, you went through a big peak, and then we hit the valley, and then we hit like status quo. So we're about to head up that mountain now. We're going to lose a lot of people. They're going to come down, and it's going to be exactly what we've pretty much have always known. But the difference is the challenge to large businesses. I think the way business is conducted over this hump is going to look very, very different. And I really believe the large businesses are as susceptible. Salesforce, HubSpot, people, I've said this. I generally wonder where they're going to be in a couple of years. I really wonder.
Well, I mean, a lot of big companies have gone down in history, like Kodak, when that big mistake of not getting on the digital train. Okay, so what you're saying is people will lose their jobs, and they're going to need some sort of universal basic income to cobble it together. But for the people that want to work, they're going to figure something out, because they always do. People that are workers always figure it out. So what is the one thing that anybody can do right now to just start getting into leveraging AI?
All right. So let's just say, so I'll talk to a business owner directly, or a business owner or somebody that's, working at a company. The number one thing you want to do is start organizing all of your data and put that in a secure room. Whether you want to do Dropbox, Google Drive, talk to your IT team and you build a room, organize all of your data, all of your SOPs, all of your marketing, all of your customer service interactions, and label it properly and make sure that it's all done right. And the reason you want to do that is because all the AI products we're talking about right now, between vibe coding and ChatGPT, they're all plugging into these data rooms right now. And this is what they do. They go in, they read your data, and then they get smarter and smarter and smarter, and they can help you answer any questions you may have. And that single job, by doing that right now, prepares you for all the advancements it's having in AI. Because now, as AI layers start happening and as you start plugging into your data, you're now going to be ready to make fast decisions on all the information you have. To me, that's number one. Number two, really learn how to build a custom GPT. I won't go too far down the road with a gem, but a custom GPT takes all of your data and it almost becomes an employee that you train. It's not hard to do. You go to ChatGPT, you click GPTs, and in the upper right-hand corner, it's going to say create. Once you hit create, there's a chat box that opens up and say, I want to create a custom GPT that teaches me how to implement AI at my company. And it's going to literally walk you step by step through on how to build it. And then that custom GPT that you're going to go into, its only job that it thinks it has to do is teach you how to implement AI to the company. That's it. And learning how to build that, and then you start building those custom GPTs for every facet of everything you're doing in business. So, I need this for customer service. Now I need one for sales. Now you're beginning to understand how AI is becoming the operating system of your life, the operating system of your business. So if you organize your data, learn how to build custom GPTs, leaving 2026, you're going to feel really, really good.
Okay, well, that was very helpful. Even where to go to ChatGPT, where to click, very actionable. Thank you for that. So, folks, you just got to go to ChatGPT, click, or Claude. Claude has the same thing, correct?
All
And
great.
Gemini. Some people prefer Claude. A lot of people love Claude. So basically, even if people just put this in Google Drive, correct? Just Google Drive.
You can actually store your stuff in Google Drive.
Actually, most of my stuff's already in Google Drive. I was just thinking, I already have a data room. It's called Google Drive.
And if you go in right now, if you're in ChatGPT, I don't know if you know this, you hit the plus button down below in the search, it's going to drop down and say connect to Google Drive.
No way.
Connect to Google Drive.
So you could just basically connect to your Google Drive and say, hey, go find this thing that I did at some point. Because, sometimes we can't find stuff in there. There's so much data. So,
you have that. And if you're Gemini, you can click the star and in your Google Drive, and your Gemini will start talking to you within your Google Drive.
So I have a question. Can you get the GPT to organize the data in there?
Not yet.
Ah, see, that would be great.
Not yet. I'm sure there's somebody who's going to listen to this like, oh, no, you can do that. That's something that it's out of my wheelhouse. I would bet if that's not here now, that's coming. Or look at all my data and organize it.
Do you know what? I would wait for that because organizing data is literally the worst thing I ever want to do. That's like the one thing that I absolutely hate is organizing data and media and all of that. I think that I am not alone in that. So I think it'd be really great if we could click and say, hey, here's my Google Drive. Please organize all my data. And then we don't have to do that step ourselves. That would be even better, right?
Yeah, and I think that would be great, but I think that's going to be one of the leading jobs that's going to emerge here is going to be data room managers.
There we go. And you know what? Before the internet, there was no such thing as website designers. And look at all the jobs that were created from that.
Yes.
Well, so it's not all bad. So Len, this has been absolute pleasure to have you on the show. I'd like to ask you one thing before we go. What is a philosophy or a mindset that you live by that you want to share with everybody?
Okay, you mean like basically like a tagline type thing? Like
just a motto or website that, like you live by?
Well, a long time ago, I learned from somebody. I used to be a caddy at a golf course, and I was lucky enough to caddy for a famous basketball player named Charles Barkley. And this is a true story. I asked Charles Barkley, I said, what made you great? And Charles Barkley looked at me and he goes, indecision will kill you. He goes, no matter what it is, he goes, any single time you take that shot, you make that move, you do anything, he said, indecision will kill you. He goes, I never once did anything and looked back. And I kind of took that to heart. And to this day, anytime somebody says, what's the best thing you ever heard in your life? I'm like, Charles Barkley. When I caddied for him one time when I was in college, he literally said, indecision will kill you. And he's right. If you think about it, you don't think about decisions you make, just go do it.
I love it. It's kind of like, just do it now. Okay. Thanks again, Len. And thank you everybody for listening. I hope you got a lot of value out of this show, and we will see you on the next episode. You're listening to the Business Wealth Impact Podcast, your source for empowering information and cutting-edge ideas from the world's top minds. I'm your host, Jeanne Amlour, founder of seven-figure coaching company, Jeanne Amlour International. Join me on a journey to unleash your potential and create your highest success. Welcome to Business Wealth Impact.